Hey y'all, it's Leah. Welcome back to my channel. I am very excited to be doing my next video for the Let's Go Steampunk collaboration hosted by Sherls Crafts. So Sherls put together these two really cool kits and gathered up a bunch of masterful tinkerers. We are each doing videos. There's 2 videos actually per day per prompt. So each day has its own prompt. So mine is intricate gear ingenuity, and I'm going to do a tag with that. But before I get into that, I kind of want to go over some of the nuts and bolts for the collab. So we have our schedule. This can be found on the link tree below. There, Cheryl's put together a Ko-fi little pack that has the prompts and the days which masterful tinkerers are doing their videos that day. On that link tree, you can also find all of the videos linked there. So that's really cool. She also has a very fun kind of like what is steampunk kind of thing, because some people are very new to it, and it's a great little overview of what the whole thing is about. Okay. So this out of the way, there are lots of freebies. She's actually added even more since I last printed these out. So there's a couple of more. There's some with blueprints, and then there's one that just came out the other day that I haven't even downloaded yet. So I'm very excited. So she's just continuing to add on to these really cool kits. So there are 2 kits. Let me show you these. So one is Steampunk Dream, and it's a very pastel kind of steampunk, version of steampunk, which is very different. Most of us are really used to like the sepia tones, the blacks, the really dark colors. So this is a really fun kit. All of her kits are on sale for 30%, and that will last until a week after the collab is over, and our collab runs through June 7th, so that'll be on sale through June 14th. So make sure you check this out. There are 40 pages in the kit. There is US letter size as well as A4, so check that out. So there's the digital paper, and then there's an ephemera bundle, and that one has 36 pages in that. And then there's the Gothic Steampunk. Now, if y'all know me, I am all about purple. So as soon as I saw this, I was totally in. I've been wanting to do a steampunk journal, and this really jump-started that, especially with it being in purple. So again, this kit is also on sale through June 14th. So check that out. These are the 40 pages of papers. And then there is the ephemera bundle, and that's what I'm going to be working with today, some of the ephemera. Please make sure that you are checking out the other masterful tinkerers and subscribing to their channels and commenting on them. If you leave a comment on every video and subscribe to the channels, you will have a chance to win over 30 really cool prizes. So definitely do that. There are some fabulous ideas I'm actually going through, and I've got I'm making both journals. I'm doing the Gothic one and the pastel, and or the Steampunk Dream. And so I've been trying to make all of the projects that people are making, and I'll do flip throughs of my journals when it gets done. So I'm really excited about that. Sherls will be picking and announcing the lucky winners on her channel about 2 weeks after the collab, so somewhere around the 21st of June. And then we'd love to see your own creations, so make sure you're using the hashtag Let's Go Steampunk and show us what you've been making. All right, so this is my little journal that I have put together, and again, I'll do a little flip through on that at a later date, but this is what we are going to work on today. This is our gear tag, and so it's pretty simple, and so it's just got a couple of little details that I want to show you, and then I'm just using one of the created pockets that she has, and then she's got these fun little words and some quotes And so that is what we are going to use today. Okay, so let's set that aside, So what I did was I grabbed the tag and the pocket. She's got these on pages. There's 6 pockets, or 6 tags per page, and then there's 4 pockets. And then I just shrunk them down. So I wanted it to be a little bit smaller because I knew the page that I wanted it to go on. And so I knew I wanted it kind of in the corner. So I just made it a little bit smaller. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some gears to that. And I have just accumulated some gears. Some are from Tim Holtz, some are just from a craft store that I would find. And all I did to kind of add a little shine to it, because they tend to be very dull, I just took some gilding wax. And even though these have daubers, I never find that they work and they're really big. I found the best way is just to kind of dab your fingers, which you can see that I've been doing this quite a bit because I've got all the stuff all over my fingers. And so you can just dab a little bit on the gears and then just give them a little shine. I also had some metallic rub-ons, and so that works as well. I had a metallic Sharpie that didn't work at all, but you might have another way of doing it. I'm even thinking you can emboss on it. So if you just dabbed it on your embossing pad, sorry, words are hard today, dab it on your embossing pad and then put like some gold or some bronze embossing powder on there and then heat that up. I'm also thinking, I've not played with it yet, but I have it, but there's the Ranger alloy that you can put on and then heat up. And so I'm curious, I need to try that to see what that does, because this is probably the perfect project for that. So I am just going to glue those on in kind of random spots. I am using Beacon 3-in-1. It's very similar to Fabri-Tac. That is what I use anytime I am gluing something heavy. Pretty much anytime I'm doing anything that is not paper to paper. And so I'm just going to put that one there, kind of over that little circle that's in there. And then I'm going to take one of the smaller ones and just add that. I think we'll go here with that one. So I'm just covering up some of the existing gears on there just to add a little dimension. I always like whenever you can add some dimension. If you don't have gears, if you have something like oh my gosh, again, words are really hard today. I'm gonna have to grab it out so I can see what it is. Oh, sorry, glossy accents. If you have some glossy accents, you could go around there. I've found that I've been using that a lot with this project. If you had just some little like enamel dots, you could put those on there. If you have like Wink of Stella, you could kind of highlight some of the pieces. If you just have some like paint pens or gel pens, you can kind of go around. So there's lots of different ways to kind of enhance the gears on here and make them stand out a little bit more. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do with our tag is we're going to add our little pieces to that. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing, I just punched out, she's got some of these whale tail tabs, so I am going to glue that on to the top. Whoops, and not knock over my glue. Not doing a good job today. And with these, I usually just put it down to that little swoop. And then I need to punch a hole in there. So I am going to be hanging a jump ring from this. So I'm going to kind of go to the side and fairly close to the edge, because I don't want, it would be hard to get the jump ring in if it wasn't close to the edge. So what I like to do is just insert my jump ring first, and then she's got these fun little words. So I, again, made them smaller. So I did mechanical, steampunk, and industrial. And so I just inked those and then punched little holes in them with my tiny little hole punch. And then you always want to start with your biggest one in the back. And then my middle one is gonna go there. Maybe. There we go. They're kind of fiddly. And then you can usually, with these Tim Holtz jump rings, they're pretty easy to manipulate on your own. But if you do have some pliers, you can do that. So that's just our little jump ring with our little tags, just to add, again, I like to add a little dimension to things. So now we're going to decorate our pocket. So the first thing I did was I cut it out, and then I like to fold in the sides and ink everything because I really like that ink look, especially with this project. And then I just took some dyed cheesecloth. Now when I apply cheesecloth, I like to use glue stick. I find that it's really easy, and I just kind of put a little bit where it's gonna be. And the fun thing about cheesecloth is it doesn't all have to stick down. It's kind of nice to have some kind of floating a little bit. And then I printed out the tag that says, "All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream." And it's by Edgar Allan Poe, who is one of my favorite authors. And anytime, again, when I'm gluing something onto like fabric, or if I'm gluing lace, I'm always going to use the 3-in-1 or the Fabri-Tac. And so I'm just going to put that there because I don't want to cover up the rocket ship. So it's just going to go like that. And then it is ready to be glued in to our journal and sit like that. Get that back out. So it looks like that. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this project. And again, if you are making your own, please use the hashtag Let's Go Steampunk and check out all the other masterful tinkerers. All right. Hope y'all are enjoying this collab. See you next time. Bye.